Sing is very beautiful Janakashtakam, composed by Adi Shankaracharya. Okay, navigate this. Kadachit kalayam dekat vipina sangeeta karavo. Kadachit kalayam dekat vipina sangeeta Udabhiri nari bhagana tamala swada madhupahar. Rama Shambhu Brahma Marapati Ganesha Chita Padmo. Jagannath Swami Nayana Pathagami Bhavato me. Jagannath Swami Nayana Pathagami Bhavatu me. Puje sabye vedum shirasi shikhi picham kavitate. Netrante sahacharakataksham vidadhate. Sada Srimad Vrindavana Vasati Leela Parichayo. Jagannath Swami Nayana Pathagami Bhavatu me. Ahambule tire karuchire nila shikhare. Vasan prasadantah sa jabala bhatrena kalina. Subhadra Bhadyastha Sakala Sura Seva Asarhadu. Jagannath Swami Nayana Pathagami Bhavatu me. Paravadasa Jala Jala Kashmiri Ruchiro.
Jayadaseni Ruchiro
Ramavani Ramasmini Mala Panki Ruhamukha. सूर्यत्रैराराध्य श्रुति गणशिखा गीतचरितो जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पथगामी भवतु मे रथारूढो गच्छन् पथिलिता भूदेव पटलैः स्तुति प्रादुर्भावं पतिपदमोपाकर्ण्य सदयः दया सिन्धुर्बन्धुः सकल जगतां सिन्धुसुतय जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पथगामी भवतु मे परब्रह्मा पीडको लयदालोत्कुल्य नयनो निवासी नीलाद्रौ निहितचरणो शिरसि रसानन्दी राधा सरसवपुलालिङ्गन सुखो जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पथगामी भवतु मे वैरचैराज्यं नाचकनकमाणिक्य विभवम् याचिहं रम्यां सकल जनकाम्यां वरवधूम् सदा काले काले प्रमथपतिना गीतचरितो जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पथगामी भवतु मे रक्तं संसारं तृणसारं सुरपते रत्नं पापानां वेदतीमपरां यादवपते अहो दीने नाथे निहित चरणो निश्चितमिदम् जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पथगामी तव तुम्हें। जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पथगामी तव तुम्हें। जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पथगामी तव तुम्हें। जगन्नाथष्टकं पुण्यं यः पठेत् प्रयतः शुचिः सर्वपापविशुद्धात्मा विष्णुलोकं स गच्छति। Hare Krishna. Very beautiful prayer of Lord Jagannath by Adi Shankaracharya. So we'll meditate on this beautiful prayer as we set aboard the beautiful Rath Yatra pastimes of Lord Jagannath, Baldev and Subhadra. Om Jnanatimirudhasya Jnananjanashalakhaya Brahmena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya-manobhishtam sthapitam yena bhutale swayam rupa kada mahyam dadati swapadantikam vandeham Shri Guru Shri Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajata Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Harijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhamvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So, what do you see in this map? See Mahaprabhu. Is it just a South India Yatra?
Okay. Jagannath.
Yes.
Sri Shelgram.
Ah, you see the different places of pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but specifically how he brought all glory, all fame to the pastimes of Lord Jagannath in Jagannath Puri. In fact, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spent a large part of his stay in Jagannath. And I mean, it is not factually wrong to say that because of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, uh, the glory of Lord Jagannath has only been significantly amplified to the entire world. So this is the nature of parampara. You are trying to highlight, glorify whom those whom you consider adorable, great source of inspiration. In fact, if you see Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, last part of his Antya Leela, one third, is all about only about Jagannath Puri, pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with Rath Yatra. So, for the pleasure of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, let's embark on this beautiful journey. Uh, okay, so what do you see here? The second, what is the temple, right? What is inside the temple? That beautiful deities, Shivling hai. Here you see Lord Shiva. Where did Lord Shiva's Shivling come from? Varanasi. Uh, Then there's something called Rashoda, the kitchen. And there, Lakshmi Devi provides all the meals to Lord Jagannath. She is the consort of Lord Jagannath. She is the kitchen. Parvati Devi cooks the food. Lakshmi Devi provides. Parvati Devi cooks. And there are 56 varieties of bhoga. I mean, we all accept it as prasada. And they are offered how many times in the day? Anyone? 5 times in a day. So there are also many beautiful places around Garuda Stamba. If you go around, you'll find many deities. Of course, Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, Maya, the deities. There's also a Kalpa Vriksha, banyan tree. Lord Markandeya, Markandeya Rishi saw Lord Krishna sit under this banyan tree. So it is also considered that this is the same banyan tree under which Markandeya Rishi saw Lord Krishna. Tararavindeena padaravindam mukharavindena vidiveshayatam vatasya patrasya puteshayanam balam mukundam manasa smarami. So this is also Brahmasthana, where Lord Brahma sat. And there are also many important places where oblations to forefathers are also historically very, very significant. Um, Maybe in the next class, we'll also show you the beautiful video where Srila Prabhupada, during his visit to Jagannath Puri, got so inspired about the stories of Lord Jagannath, the advent of Lord Jagannath, that, of course, from his childhood he had that inspiration, but through his life, his connections with Jagannath only again got intensified when he went to the West and started the Rath Yatra there. Just like Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu amplified the pastimes of Lord Jagannath Baladev Subhadra, Srila Prabhupada did that multifold, beyond the seven seas and seven oceans. So we are going to understand a little bit of the beautiful pastimes of Rath Yatra. So we're going to have Rath Yatra next month, and we're going to have some preparation. We'll talk a little bit more about the Rath Yatra today, so that we can prepare ourselves for that seva. And then next class we will continue a little bit about the pastimes of Lord Jagannath as revealed even to Srila Prabhupada and revealed by Prabhupada. So the Jagannath Rath Yatra is the process of Lord Jagannath coming from the Jagannath temple, as we'll see, to the Gundicha temple. And Jagannath temple where Lakshmi is there, to Gundicha temple. And the return journey is called the Bahuda Yatra. The Lord comes back from the Gundicha temple to the Jagannath temple. So why are these pastimes as they are, right? What is the story behind them? And of course, when the Lord goes there, he doesn't just go there, as a matter of fact. He goes there with a lot of pomp. Not only pomp, he also has his own mischievous pomp, right? So it takes a lot of effort for the Lord to come down, and he doesn't follow any schedule. You may think, everything we like to do as per schedule, but Rath Yatra day, the more the schedule is violated, the more the celebration. Typically, you don't celebrate violation of schedule. Imagine meetings get delayed by 2 hours, 3 hours. Happen when people become available. You get frustrated. But year after year, the Jagannath Rath Yatra, the more the Lord derails the proceedings of the day, the more there is celebration. हाँ, आज एकदम समय अधिक समय लग गया 4 घंटे लग गए बाहर आने का अच्छा that's not because of some technical flaw that is Leela. In fact, not only coming down, but even his movement. Sometimes the Ratha would stop, and you'll see in the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Jagannath's Ratha would not move at all. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had to push, try and push the Ratha with his head. And it's explained that there was like a competition between the lover and the beloved. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's devotion and Lord Jagannath's reciprocation with that devotion. So you see the beautiful celebration of the Rathas, they are organized. And here you can see something called the Snana. So we'll go a little bit back, right? What happens before the Rath Yatra? So every year before the annual Rath Yatra, there's a grand Snana, bathing of Lord Jagannath. Now the Snana is not all the time. Okay? You can't, we have beautiful darshan of Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra. Right? Daru Brahma. The deity is manifest as Daru Brahma. So you can't bathe in the deities. You can't bathe the Daru Brahma. But every year, before the yearly Rath Yatra, there is a Snana. Grand Snana is given to Lord Jagannath. Now, you can see this beautiful Abhishek is actually Abhishek of love of the devotees. The Lord accepts it. Even though ordinarily you don't do it. So they get waters from multiple holy rivers, holy places, and bathe the Lord ships with love. Now the thing is, you may think, "Arey, theek hai, to kya hua?" But they do it every day. They do it for several days together. Seriously. So because of this, you imagine, right? If you are bathing several days non-stop, क्या होगा? सर्दी बढ़ जाएगी. तुमको सर्दी लग जाती है. बोलेंगे ठीक है, एक साल किया, दूसरे साल भी ऐसे ही करते हैं. हाँ, दूसरे साल भी करते हैं. सर्दी लगनी है उनको. तो ये प्रथा है. Every day he is bathed for days, and then he falls sick. Some of you would have fallen sick because of changing weather. But irrespective of weather change, those tithis are fixed, and the Lord will get sick. So, because of this, the Lord develops kind of cold, becoming sick. So भगवान क्या करेंगे जब बीमार पड़ जाएंगे तो क्या करेंगे? He gets sick. But भगवान So intelligent, the most intelligent. Because this is an opportunity he takes every year. Once he gets sick, see, when you get sick, you like to go to some other place. बीमार पड़ जाते तो अपना एक सेवा स्थान है, कोई ऐसा स्थान जहां पर आपका ध्यान रखा जाए. So he thinks this is a time for me to go to some simple place. Jagannath temple is very opulent. As we saw, Lakshmi Devi takes care of all those chappal bhog. How many times a day? So, so many times he has to be fed, so many opulent, aarti, celebration. When you're sick, you want to be in a slightly simple place. So Lord uses this excuse to get away from opulence. Saralta chahiye. So, and Jagannath temple is like Dwaraka. Lakshmi Devi is serving in Dwaraka. Just like when Krishna was in Dwaraka, what was he always thinking about? He would always think of Vrindavan, the forest of Vrindavan, the dust of Vrindavan. So you see this beautiful poem also. Kadachit Kalindi Tata. We sang that just now, right? So Kadachit means sometimes. Sometimes what does Lord Jagannath do in that prayer also? Kadachit. Kalindi Tata means on the banks of River Yamuna. He actually creates a beautiful concert. With his, what does he do on the groves of the banks of Yamuna with flute? English flute. You can put this fan on this. यहाँ पर है. He acts like a bumblebee. He's like a bumblebee, like a bee goes to different flowers and tastes nectar. So similarly, Jagannath ji is like a bumblebee, and the lotus flowers are like the faces of the gopis. He's tasting that beautiful devotional mood. The face is the index of the mind. If the mind is disturbed, the face also appears disturbed. But the gopis, their minds are so clean that their faces become like lotus flowers, places for Lord Jagannath to go and visit like a bumblebee. Gulabhiri Nari, Kamal Aswadan, Madhupaha, the nectar, Madhupaha, Kamal Aswadan. Rama Shambhu Brahma Mara Pati Ganesh Architapa. So Rama is Lakshmi, Shambhu, Shiva, Brahma, Indra, Ganesha. They all worship his lotus feet. So he's worshipped by Lakshmi, Shiva. We just saw, right? Few slides back. I'll come to this video in some short while. I wanted to show this, right? So we saw all of these personalities are in the Jagannath temple. So Rama, Shambhu, Brahma, Amara, Pati Ganesh, Archita Padu. So why does he get sick? Because this is just he wants change. Nothing wrong in wanting change, right? But the change the Lord wants is not to get away from the current situation. The difference between our change is what? We come to one place, we are not satisfied. We want to go to another place. So our change is because of dissatisfaction. Right? Akamadam, dukkha, bhaya, vishoka. Our desire is not fulfilled. We are sad. We made a choice, wrong choice. Every choice looks wrong on me. And we just in frustration, changing situation all the time. Jagannath is fully satisfied. Yet he wants it. Wanting a change in satisfaction state is different from wanting a change out of frustration. So here he is very satisfied. ऐसा नहीं कि after the Gundicha visit, he goes to some other temple. No, I don't want to go back. He comes back to Jagannath temple only. So he's satisfied there every year. So Krishna says, Bhuktaram Nityatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suram Sarvabhutanam Atva Mam Shanti Vichati. He is the supreme enjoyer of all the bhokta of all the headgears. And Krishna says that he is also our well-wisher, Suhridam Sarva Bhutana. Therefore, Yatra Mam Shanti Brichati. If we pose our meditation on Dhyan in the Supreme, then we will also be satisfied. Just like if you decorate the source, then the reflection gets satisfied. So therefore, the Lord's becoming sick, which we'll now see the video. Let's see the video. The Lord's becoming sick is not out of Janma Mrityu Jaravyadhi Dukkha Dukshana. It's not disease born because of birth, old age because of birth. That which is born is what we say. That which is born will also dwindle. But he is Swayambhu. He is not born from anyone else. Janmadisyato Almayat Kudrashchatesh Avidyaswarat. Tere Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavai Mujhanti Yat Sureh. Tejo Var Vudam Yatha Vinimayo Sargom Rasha. So he is Janmariyasya. In fact, he is before Janma of anyone else. Janmari, who can give him birth? His sickness is not born of birth and death. His wanting a change is similarly not born out of any dissatisfaction. With this, let's beautifully view this beautiful. स्नान यात्रा के बाद कैसे वो बीमार पड़ गए. Please behold this beautiful person. Jagannath has become sick because of bathing continuously for 14 days. What is God? He has become sick. And when you are sick, you want some medicine. Jagannath's medicine is pure, unalloyed love. In fact, he is also showing that that is the perfect medicine for all of us. Pure, unalloyed love. He is with Lakshmi Devi in Dwaraka, lot of opulence. Is it that he didn't get love there? Of course. That is also a place where Lakshmi Devi, her selflessness is so glorified. Yet, the nature of great devotees is they appreciate the qualities of other devotees. Just like Prahlad Maharaj, we discussed this beautiful pastime of Lakshmi Devi, Shiva, many other personalities were there right in front of Narasimha Devi. But yet, the only person who could pacify Lord Narasimha Devi was Prahlad Maharaj. Mandarakanda Kubarutbala Champakarna Punnadanyada Bakulambuja Parijata Gandhirchite Tulasika Bharanena Tasya Yasmin Tapassu Manaso Bahumanayanti. Even though many great flowers are there, Mandarakanda Kubara Utpala Parijata, you must have heard some of these flowers names. But when Tulasi Devi comes in the middle, all of the others, they withdraw. They say, Tulsi's fragrance is what is lovable to Krishna. Tulsi Devi is so simple. Then Tulsi से इतने प्रसन्न हो जाते भगवान. हरिजात को देखो, रंग बिरंगे हैं. Yes. ऐसा नहीं कि कल से सिर्फ तुलसी ऑफर करेंगे. You offer all. Yet the Lord revels in the simplicity of Tulsi. Just like the Lord revels in the simplicity of Tulsi, even though all the flowers have their very, very special place. Similarly, Jagannath, who is sitting in Dwaraka like Jagannath temple, he revels in the simplicity of the other temple called the Gundicha temple. That simplicity of love. That doesn't mean the love of Lakshmi Devi is complex. It is not related. It is absolute. In a relative world, you say the only way you can appreciate X is by saying this guy not so good. This guy is good. That's the only way we can. And unfortunately, that's how in a dog world you often tend to survive. I think X is better than Y. But you can have X and X can be very good, and X can magnify the love of Y. So similarly, Lakshmi Devi, through this pastime, she is glorifying the board in Vrindavan. So in Dwaraka, the queens do not have. Each queen got 10 sons and a daughter. 10 sons and daughters. So the queens are very busy with big families. If you read the Krishna book, right, the 10th canto of Bhagavatam, you will find Krishna had a very beautiful, busy, hectic day in Dwarka every day. 10 sons, daughters, he would play with all of them. It's not that the sons and daughters were distraction. Right? In Vrindavan, however, the gopis, they knew only one person, which is Krishna. Unalloyed love. And in fact, you may say, then Krishna should be in Dwaraka. No, just in Vrindavan. Just like how many days Jagannath goes, from the Jagannath temple to Gundicha temple, how many days is he there? 8 days. Small fraction of 365. Similarly, the gopis in Vrindavan, they wait for Krishna for 100 years. More than 100 years. And then Krishna, sometimes it appears Krishna is coming and he doesn't come also. So just because Krishna loves simplicity doesn't mean that Krishna escapes from Kurukshetra saying, I want simple. That simplicity is a calling. I mean, it's so inspirational for all of us. That simplicity is a calling. We should always pull our hearts. Therefore, one great Vasudev Ghosh, he says, Kao Kao Punaha Gaurangera Guna Sarala Koriyana. To make your heart simple. So simplicity of heart is emphasized. That simplicity of heart doesn't mean escapism. Even Krishna does not run away from Kurukshetra. He doesn't even run away from Dwaraka. And he keeps the gopis and Vrindavan waiting forever. Here at least once a year, Jagannath goes for 8 days. Even that ratio is quite skewed in comparison to Krishna's Dwaraka to Vrindavan ratio. Right? But it is the same mood. So what did we see so far? How Jagannath ji has fallen sick. Right? For those who came late, Jagannath ji is bathed in Snan Yatra for many days continuously, and as a result, he falls sick. And he uses this as an excuse to go from the Jagannath temple to the Gundicha temple. Jagannath temple is like Dwaraka, Gundicha temple is like Vrindavan. That's why we're talking about the simplicity that attracts him. So now the hard part. Basically, Lord Jagannath is telling Lakshmi Devi, that is Rukmini, that I need a vacation, small vacation of 8 days. But Lakshmi Devi, I mean, she doesn't say happily go, go, go. She also feels very sorry, but she gives permission. Right? And as is the tradition, everyone knows that sickness is not the real reason, it is just an excuse. That he wants to see his devotees in Vrindavan. That is Gundicha temple. What's the distance from Gundicha temple to Jagannath temple? Anyone has been to Jagannath Puri? No? 3 kilometers. Nothing compared to Dwaraka Vrindavan. So again, miniature. Not only are the time ratios skewed, but distance is also skewed. But that is the beauty. He makes that entire pastime of separation accessible within 3 kilometers. And once a year, assured. Assured once a year. Which even the gopis in Vrindavan don't have that assurance. It's a huge treat for all devotees every year. Can you imagine how fortunate we are? We get to experience, or at least get a glimpse of that experience. उसके बीच में थोड़ा नाटक हो जाए तो क्या प्रॉब्लम है? टाइम पे नहीं आए तो क्या प्रॉब्लम है? हर साल तो आते हैं, उसमें 2 घंटा ले लिया, या कभी समटाइम्स द रथ यात्रा गेट डिलेड बाय 1 डे आल्सो, सो व्हाट, once a year that is assured. So Lakshmi Devi is not very happy. You can see Lakshmi Devi not very happy, right? But the devotees are all very happy. Yeah? So after getting permission from Lakshmi Devi, who's a very unwilling permission, Lord Jagannath hops onto the chariot very royally and starts to go to Gundicha. Now, Jagannath जा रहे तो बलदेव और सुभद्रा क्या करेंगे? Right? So Balaram and Subhadra Devi also jump into the chariots and join. So this is how the Rath Yatra happens after the Snan Yatra. More details will follow. Of course, we will not conclude today. We'll have more coming up. Now, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu beautifully in the Srimad Bhagavatam, of course, he quotes a verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam. He made this entire mood of Rath Yatra very famous. As explained in the first slide itself, Lord Jagannath made Jagannath Puri the hub of his activities. So every year before the Rath Yatra chariot festival, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would offer this beautiful prayer to Lord Jagannath. He would offer prayers in this prayer from Srimad Bhagavatam, which I would request you to repeat after me. He is praying to Lord Jagannath or Krishna, not as Dwarka Krishna or Vasudev Krishna, but as Brajendra Nandana Krishna, means Vrindavan Krishna. Jayati Janani Vaso Devaki Janmavado Yaduvara Parishat Swair Dharmam Sthirachara Vrijinagnan Susmita Shri Mukhena Vrajapura Vanitana Vardhayan Kamadevam. So Shri Krishna, Jayati Jananivaso Devaki Janmavado. Devaki. So Devaki gave birth to Krishna, or Krishna appeared to the womb of Mother Devaki in the prison. Very, what amazing, unfathomable tapasya of Devaki and Vasudeva. Right? And that's what we celebrate during Janmashtami. However, he very soon transitioned to Vrindavan, to Gokul Mahavan, and grew up as Yashoda Nandan. He was born as Devaki Nandan, but grew up as Yashoda Nandan. So Yaduvara Parishat Swair, he is the guide of the entire Yadu dynasty. He was born there. Actually, also the glorious sacrifice of Devaki and Vasudeva. We have so much I and mine, main mera, mera. The whole spiritual mode is actually to let go. Whatever is due, credit आएगा भाई. इतना tension मत लो. Because in the process of credit, we exhaust, right? We get into a debit mode. We want credit, but we get it debited, right? Our heart gets debited of all emotions because of credit. What do you say, Satish Prabhu? So Yaduvara Parishad Sway, that Krishna became the guide of the Yadu dynasty. And then he, Adharmam, Swayam Dorbhir Asyam Adharmam. He vanquished all the adharma, the inauspicious activities in Vrindavan. अरे कंस क्या अधर्म नहीं कर रहा था? कंस ने तो देवकी को prison में डाल दिया. Kamsa Mama also he killed eventually. But many people associated with Kamsa, Putana, the entire entourage, ecosystem he had to change. So Devaki and Vasudeva accepted Krishna's process of cleansing the ecosystem. They could have demanded, "Arey, first kill Kamsa sitting here, then you go to Vrindavan and kill others." Started wiped off Dharma in Vrindavan and came back later on finally to kill Kamsa in Mathura. Right? This is the glory of Lakshmi Devi, that she lets Jagannath go. This is the glory of Devaki, that she lets Krishna go. And that's why I'm saying this is absolute truth. This is not relative. Who's better? Lakshmi is better or Radha is better? Is Devaki better or Yashoda better? No, that is not the point. Krishna is taking special pleasure. Actually, the spiritual realm is meant to reflect this beautiful pastime of Krishna in every relation. The uniqueness in the sambandha, the relation, right? When the relation becomes more prominent than I or he, right? When the relation becomes more prominent, that is when the relation also becomes spiritual. When I and you are more prominent than our relationship, then the whole relation is transactional and material. Right? Our relation can dissolve because I'm more important in that relation. But that relation takes prominence. It's not about me, it's about the relationship. In a family, you experience that. Two children, you used to have 5 children, many children. Hopefully, that comes back soon. So many, and each child has a very unique relationship. It is not that one is better than the other. So, Krishna exhibits his pastimes to also remind us how even in this iha, the para can reflect, the spiritual realm can reflect even this material world. And what else does he do? Sthira chara brijina dhan susmita. Smita means smile. So he is smiling, susmita, so beautifully smiling. To do what? Vrajapura Vanitanam Vardhayam Kamadevam. To increase his smiles, to increase the desire, the pull of the gopis, the pull of the Vrajavasis, pulling Krishna to Braja. Of course, we come back to the fact that Krishna for 100 years did not go back to Vrindavan. He kept on attracting, increasing his attraction, but gaya nahi wahan. Govardhan, if you go Govardhan Parikrama, there is one Lotha Baba sitting in one tail of Govardhan. Krishna told him, just wait here, मैं आता हूँ. अभी भी प्रतीक्षा कर रहे हो. पूछरी का लोठा बाबा. अभी तक कृष्ण नहीं आया. He's still waiting. Right? So this viraha bhav is actually considered the most aspirational. In separation, you are seeking Krishna. So we'll see in the Rath Yatra, this viraha bhav gets also further accessible through a glimpse of. So this prayer, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he would actually pray every year before Rath Yatra began. You can see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's praying there before Rath Yatra began. This was actually in the mood of Srimati Radharani. Srimati Radharani, she met Krishna. You can see on the right hand side, Krishna. She met him at Kurukshetra. That was during an eclipse. Right? And Krishna was in Kurukshetra, but eclipse tha. And the devotees said that the Brajavasis were there. And they said, please, you should come to Vrindavan. And they were pulling the chariot of Krishna from Kurukshetra to Vrindavan. So, in some sense, the same mode is here. The chariot is being pulled from Gundicha, from Jagannath temple to Gundicha temple, like Radharani and the gopis, they pull Krishna's chariot from Kurukshetra to Vrindavan. So, for the Lord, it may be going to Gundicha, but for the gopis, it is pulling Krishna to Vrindavan. And for the devotees, for all of us, what does it mean? Okay. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was pulling him to Gundicha. Gopis are pulling them from Kurukshetra to Vrindavan. For us, what does it mean? We are pulling him to our hearts. So all these layers manifest in one event. Right? Just like lotus flower unfolds and manifests. Multiple activities. It's not just single facet. Right? The only thing is the gopis came all the way from Vrindavan to take him back. And you can see they've decorated so beautifully. And in fact, that beautiful prayer, right? We sang, Kadachit Kalandi Tata. The gopis got a flute along. Krishna in Kurukshetra, what does he carry? Okay, he didn't fight. He was a chariot driver. But do you think he had a flute in hand? Gopi said, yeah, आप ऐसे थोड़ी आओगे. आप आओगे तो बांसुरी के साथ. So they brought a flute. They forcibly gave him a flute. She had left with Mother Yashoda and Vrindavan. But only flute? What else do you think they would have got? Peacock feather. You see, Jagannath has peacock feather. Peacock feather, buffalo horn, all of that they got. And they whisper in his ears. For now, please don't tell that father, your father and mother are Vasudeva and Devaki. Please, you are a Gopa, you are the son of Nanda Baba and Yashoda Baba. They whisper in his ears. This is what we expect from you. Krishna says, yes, yes, I will follow your instruction. And so therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is kind of reminding, he's remembering this beautiful whispering of the gopis in the ears. Your identity. See, sometimes there is a Swabhiman is important. But what is the difference between Swabhiman and Ahankar? Swabhiman, yes, I have an identity, but my identity is meant for a higher purpose. My identity is not the end. Right? Ahankar, my identity is the end. भगवान भी इसीलिए ताकि मैं जिंदाबाद. In Swabhiman, my identity is to serve a higher purpose. It could be the Bharat Mata, which has been my mother. My gratitude to my motherland, that can be the cause of Swabhiman. Right? It culminates in something higher. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is kind of whispering, now please, your real identity. Can you imagine? भगवान अपना आइडेंटिटी बदलने के लिए तैयार है और हम अहंकार लेके बैठे. I won't. Knife or scissor. Knife or scissor. I will drown, but I will stick to knife. You drown, but you stick to scissor. You know the story, right? I told earlier also. People were fighting. Knife is better or scissor is better. Both of them drowned. And the knife wala went in first. The scissor wala also went in. And was saying like this, drowning, because he wanted to assert his point. So our identity is meant for a higher purpose. Lord Jagannath, he is willing to let go of his identity. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was whispering in his ears, in the mood of the gopis. You are Nandan. Your mother Yashoda's son. This is the mood of this beautiful verse. Jayati Jana Nivaso. You're always in the hearts of all us Paramatma. So I'm just, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the way he revealed in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So Jayati Jana Nivaso, you are always in the hearts of all us Paramatma. However, as Paramatma, you cannot, Paramatma hai aap. That is your one identity, but you have to come to Vrindavan. So you have to enter the hearts of the Vrajabasis. That should be in the form of Vrajendra Vrindana Shyama Sundar. Identity as son of Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda. So Devaki Janmavado. Only Devaki Janmavado means son of Mother Devaki. And Yadu Pada Parishat Swair Dorbhid. The Yadu Vamshas, they are the Nijajana, Swajana of the Dwarkadish Krishna. So it seems that what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying is Vasudeva Krishna is being described here, and all the other personalities in Hastinapur, in Dwarka, are like the hands and legs of Krishna, arms of Krishna. And Vasudeva Krishna fought in the Mahabharata war, killed, established Adharma. So now, established Dharma and destroyed Adharma. That's all fine. You have your opulences, you could do all of that, but Brija Sthira Chara in Vrindavan, वो सब की आवश्यकता नहीं है. What do you need in Vrindavan? What is the third line? Susmita Shri Mukhena. Your arrows are your smile. I was they had asked me to post day before yesterday. I felt like a model, some award or something. 3 hours they were like taking my pictures. 3 hours. I was like, initially they asked me to smile. I started smiling. Then they said, show your teeth. After a point, it became so funny that I started laughing myself. I said, "ठीक है, हंसता हूँ क्योंकि इतना funny है, right?" So at that point of time, the person who was photographing was also a nice person. You know, he was describing that, the Srimad Bhagavatam, the scriptures, the form of the Lord is when he reveals his teeth, then the smile is very evident. Wow. So this smile of the Lord, he said, "Oh, Bahu, you can have lots of arms and legs, thus Bhima and others. But here, your smile is your weapon. So Smita Shri Mukhi. And Sthira Chara Vrajagna. So here the last Sthira Chara Vrajagna and the end Kama Deva. Now Kama means prema. What kind of prema? Sneha, Mana, Pranaya, Raga, Anuraga, Bhava, Mahabhava. These are all considered different levels of blossoming of the love. Sneha, it starts with Sneha. So when this Kamadeva is talked about, it's the purest form of love. In fact, when the love is actually doubted for the Supreme, that is called prema. And that is actually the purest form of Kama. That same prema when Atmendriya Priti Vamcha Tare Bole Kam, Krishnendriya Priti Vamcha Tare Prema. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu establishes this. That when that love is for oneself, that's called Kama. But for the Supreme, it's called prema. Okay. So now, with this beautiful prayer of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I'll go to tell a story. You know this, what do you see here? Yeah, the king is sweeping. So at the beginning of the Rath Yatra, Prataprudra Raja, Maharaj Prataprudra, he was emperor of Orissa. He was sweeping the road. This is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela. He wore a very, very simple dress and looked very simple like a beggar, a street sweeper. So he swept with a coconut stick broom with his own hands, and he was watering. He didn't spray fragrant perfume on himself. He actually was sprinkling fragrance all through as he was sweeping. And the reason he would also sweep a good fragrance water so that the dust would not rise up. It should not affect the Lord. So this tradition of Orissa kings sweeping the road at the commencement of the Rath Yatra festival is pretty old. Where did it begin, right? So many years before Maharaj Prataprudra, the king at the time of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there was a king called Purushottama Jana. Now Purushottama Jana, he also swept the road before the Rath Yatra festival every year. And even today, the king, right, the notional king there will come and sweep sometimes the big minister also comes and sweeps sometimes the mayor or the governor. It is still a tradition. How did it begin? What do you see here? So this is a king, and on the right hand side you see a queen, right? So this Purushottama Jana this is his story. So he had made an arrangement with the king of Kataka. So Kataka is just, you have Bhubaneswara, you have Kataka, and then you have Puri. So he had made a arrangement with the king of Kataka Nagara that he would marry his daughter. So the two kings had been communicating with each other for a very long time through messengers. And the king of Katakanagara informed Purushottam Jana that I would like to meet you in person. He did not give any specific reason to Purushottam Jana. He went to see Purushottam Jana unannounced. And saw how was very beautiful. Purushottam Jana, he was also very qualified. And that happened to be the first day of the Rath Yatra festival. And what happened? Purushottam Jana, he's so beautiful, so nicely dressed. Next moment, he's sweeping. He's sweeping in front of Lord Jagannath. And this king of Kataka had a very big attack. What is this? I had big impression about him. And so the king of Kataka became very upset. He thought, this king is supposed to be so wealthy, so qualified, and still he's grooming. Until then, he had what he had in his mind was to give his daughter in marriage to. And he had not revealed so much. But after this incident, like sometimes you just speak out. When this happened, he spoke out. I अपनी बेटी को नहीं देने वाला है झाड़ू वाले से विवाह नहीं करेगी मेरी बेटी. He spoke out loud like that. And it's not that Maharaj Purushottam Jana was like craving. ऐसा कुछ नहीं था. But this came as a big surprise and shock. So after a few days, King Purushottam Jana, he remembered he had come, and he came to know that the proposal he had come with was to get his daughter married. And what happened? King had wanted to give his daughter to me. I wasn't really looking forward to it, but what happened? Then he discovered through spies. गुप्तचरों से पता किया कि राजा ने अपने मन में ठान लिया है, कटक राजा ने, कि मैं अपने बेटी का विवाह झाड़ू वाले से करूंगा. Right? So until this, he was all fine. But after this, Maharaj Purushottam Jana was very upset. What is this? What do you see here? Maharaj Purushottam Jana said, no, this is not done. See, this is where the difference between Swabhiman, right, and Ahankar is. His identity was at the lotus feet of Lord Jagannath. So until then, there was no Ahankar. But you treat sweeping in front of Lord Jagannath as such an ordinary activity. So they declared a war. All the king of Katakanagara entered with an army. But there was a very strange thing that happened. What do you see here in this picture? You see Lord Ganesha, right? So the Katakanagara king was a big devotee of Lord Ganesha. So with his help, right? With Lord Ganesha's help, Maharaj Purushottam Jana was defeated. Maharaj Purushottam Jana was very, very upset. How I got defeated? The sweeper of Lord Jagannath is defeated. So then Purushottam Jana, it's a beautiful story, which is also displaying the mood. He went to Jagannath temple. He said, I'm serving you. I want you to become my identity as your sweeper is a cause of disrespect. Please illuminate. Now Ganesha seems to have helped him. But you are not helping me. See, this kind of loving relationship, Bhagwan said, पूछते नहीं है. One of my great godbrothers, he said, सबसे बड़ा problem है, समस्या हमारी यही है कि हम बहुत कंजूस हैं. हम भगवान से पूछते ही नहीं है कुछ. पूछते क्या है कि मुझे अच्छी डिग्री दे दो, 40 लाख का जॉब दे दो, 1 करोड़ का जॉब दे दो, बंगला दे दो. इतना तुच्छ. How miserly we are in asking. That's all we ask. Right? Look at Purushottam Jana. He said, why didn't you come to help me? मेरी सहायता क्यों नहीं किया आपने? Not give me a job, right? He didn't have that aspiration. He was nice looking. He didn't have any aspiration. said, I'll fast if you don't help me. So later that night, Purushottam Jana had a dream. And Jagannath Dev told him, don't worry, you go ahead and again challenge. Balaram and I will personally come and help. And this time you will know. That's like Lord Ram, he put this garland around Sugriva so that he gets a hint that this is Sugriva. This time I will give you a hint. So like this, he gave him a hint. Next day, Purushottam Jana called his army and his generals. And they started for the war. So there was a very interesting place on the way called Chilla Alarnath. Alarnath. It's called Alarnath. Alvarnath. And at that place, Alvarnath is very famous because it's also a place where Alvars, the worship Lord Jagannath. It's maybe like 40 kilometers, 30 kilometers or so from the Jagannath temple, Jagannath temple. So he was about to approach Alarnath. And what did he see there? What do you see on the picture? Two warriors. Actually, they were young, beautiful boys and warriors. And they were in red horses, considerably ahead of him. उनके आगे थे. तो वहां पर वो महाराज पुरुषोत्तम जना है और यहाँ पर उनके आगे खड़े. So then they were standing there. And there was an old woman who was selling buttermilk. So these two boys asked the old woman, please can you give some buttermilk? Charge दे सकती है आप पीने के लिए? बोला, can you pay for this charge? Charge. You pay, I'll give you buttermilk. Another boy said, we cannot pay. We are soldiers of the Raja. Raja के हम सिपाही हैं, हम नहीं पे कर सकते. We are on the way to fight. राजा आएंगे, वो पैसा भर देंगे. So please you give us the buttermilk and share trust. But then she had a question. वो तो ठीक है, but give me some proof that you have taken the buttermilk and not someone else, right? I said, okay, we'll give you a proof. Show the king that proof and he'll give you the buttermilk. The village lady gave an entire whole pot. They drank all the buttermilk, felt very satisfied. And then they gave a beautiful ring to this lady. In fact, both of them, they gave their rings. One was in the white horse. So one was on the white horse, the other was on a red horse. Both of them gave the ring. They said, give these rings to the king and he will know that we are a सिपाही है और आगे चले गए हैं तो वो भरेंगे पैसे. ठीक है. तो the two of them went ahead and after some time the king came to that spot where the lady was sitting with the buttermilk. And he reached there, the lady said, अरे रुको. राजा कहाँ पर है? राजा नहीं है राजा. He said, your two soldiers have gone ahead. सिपाही चले गए, छाछ पी लिया, पैसे आप भरेंगे बोल के. पुरुषोत्तम जना, all none of my soldiers have gone ahead. मैं तो मेरे पीछे है सारे. समझ नहीं सकता. वो न तो केवल आपके आगे गए, आप प्रमाण भी छोड़ के गए. They were so beautiful, young, energetic. One white and another red horse. King said, बताओ ये क्या है आपके पास? प्रमाण. ठीक है. She presented those two finger rings. And he saw one had emblem of Jagannath, the other had emblem of Baladev. Right? There it's called Baladeva Singha. Baladeva Singha means Baladev lion. Immediately recognized the rings. He said, these are the two rings made by a goldsmith, which I had presented to my deities of Krishna and Balaram. घर पे उनको पहनाया था. जगन्नाथ बलदेव को तो नहीं बनाते हम rings, bangles पहनाते हैं. But Krishna, right? Krishna Balaram, they were present. He had made those rings for them. And then he was like surprised. Krishna and Balaram, they said they will appear and they have done that. They are with me. was so assured. I said, yeah, Krishna and Balaram would have gone ahead. And he gave some land to the old woman in that place. Still today, that proof is there. Now, we can consider the entire war, etc., as nicely uh, dramatized Leela, but the evidences of all these pastimes are still there. As we are Jagannath, we will find that land, the stories of the lady. So then King Purushottam Jana had a war, and the king of Kataka was defeated and offered uh, his daughter in marriage. So he took the king, Raja ko bandi bana diya. He took him along. And he also took the deity of Vanda Ganesha. So Vanda Ganesha, who was the worshipable deity of Maharaj Kataka, उनको भी ले गए अपने Jagannath मंदिर. Right. So last time we read this beautiful prayer, how Lord Ganesha feels so empowered. We read this verse last time. Yat pada pallava yugam vinidhaya kumpa Dvandve pranama samaye sagadadi rajaha Vignam vihantu malamasya jagatrayasya Govindamadi purusham bhajanami. It was a beautiful prayer from Brahma Samhita. The devotional mode Lord Ganesha holds his trunk out of great devotion, the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna. So he offers benedictions to devotees and relieves them from obstacles. So even today, out of this mood, you'll find Manda Ganeshas. I talked about many deities in the temple of Lord Jagannath, but this is one of the beautiful deities of Lord Ganesha. So, of course, what happened after that, you can imagine, right? The next time, when the king of Kataka saw deliberately Maharaj Purushottam Jana was sweeping the street and his daughter was appreciating, they all appreciated. So the mood towards serving the Lord, like Maharaj Ambarish, Savai Manak Krishna Padar Vindayo, Vachamsi Vaikuntha Gunanu Varnay. Taro Harer Mandira Marjana Vishnu. Actually cleaning the altar, the temple of the Lord is considered the most glorious activity. Maharaj Ambarish established this. And that simplicity, this is the simplicity Lord Jagannath. Actually, Rath Yatra, everyone, some people may not be, entertained in the altar of Jagannath temple. But Rath Yatra is a time, everyone is equal. Everyone gets to darshan, perform seva. And even seva also everyone is equal. The sweeper and the king are equal. That simplicity, which Lord Krishna, attracts his heart to the banks of river Yamuna, playing a flute. You'll find that in the beautiful Jagannath Yatra. So this is what we began today's class with, this beautiful prayer. I just conclude, and we'll continue this next time. So King Purushottam Jana, he took the permission of the deity Sakshi Gopal. And he brought the deity of Sakshi Gopal to Kataka. Because Kataka, he had taken Lord Ganesha away. So he brought Sakshi Gopal to Kataka. So of course, all of these beautiful pastimes are meant to enhance the strong relationship of love. It is not that the war is fought out of enmity. But yes, sometimes a war like this is also fought to establish the Swabhiman. It is deciding and rooted in the devotion that devotee has towards the Supreme Lord. But there was reciprocation. So the Sakshi Gopal temple in Kataka, you can see even today, as reciprocation was brought. So this is Of course, Sakshi Gopal itself has another pastime which we'll talk about next time. How Gopal became a Sakshi to a Brahmana. Just like Purushottam Jana, who was the daughter of Maharaj Kataka in marriage. Similarly, there was a Brahmana who had been promised the hand of an elderly Brahmana's daughter. And how Gopalji became Sakshi to that event. We'll talk about it next time. We'll have a little bit of discussion on how we can create the beautiful Rath Yatra mood within the campus this year. There are many other, last year also I spoke about the process of cleansing the temple of Gundicha. You clean the temple of Gundicha so that the Gundicha temple, which resembles our heart, becomes a nice sitting place for the Lord. Actually, the process of cleansing is the process of removing anarthas from our heart. The mithya ahankar from our heart, which I talked about earlier. But symbolically, that process is also carried out during Rath Yatra. We clean the Gundicha temple. So until last year, we used to clean the Devi temple. But now the Devi temple is under renovation. So we were thinking if we could take Jagannath Rath Yatra, Jagannath Ji, Baldev and Subhadra from here to the Ganesha temple. Is in the Devi temple premise. And maybe have Lord Jagannath situated right beside Ganesha. The same deities of Ganesha who were brought from, that's the reason I told the story, that Vanda Ganesha deities came from Cuttack to the Jagannath temple. So we can, this year we can, in the mood of Vanda Ganesha, we can take Jagannath Baldev Subhadra to the Vanda Ganesha temple in the campus. I hope you like my trick in offering this story. And if Vanda Ganesha can come, then Jagannath can also go. Because the Devi temple is under complete renovation. What do you say? Was the story appealing to create this mood?
Prabhu, the Ganesh side are still there is a Kanchi Ganesh.
Story about the Gundicha Mahajan. I can wait. पहले venue decide कर ले, बाद में सफाई करेंगे. Any thoughts? Yes. So we are talking about practical, but theoretical. What do we do about Rath Yatra on the campus? We have some other conceptual question.
But then talk about this justified. How you all have your
There are two things. First of all, the war itself would have been just a proxy, some kind of very symbolic. That is not the most important thing here. Right? There have been cases where just by show of strength someone surrenders. But there have been wars. I mean, again, we have to also acknowledge that there have been wars sometimes just based on people's arrogance. It's also been a case. History has been witness to that. But even from that perspective, what this pastime highlights, and which is still celebrated. It's not I am telling this pastime. You go to Jagannath temple, the Pandas will tell you the story in their own sweet way. So it also kind of symbolizes that the culture which is centered around temples, the giving all glory to the deities in the temple. Even wars, even if a proxy war is fought towards that, it is to subdue one's ahankar or someone else's ahankar. See, even in our hearts, we have a good dog and a bad dog. Good dog and bad dog. Both are fighting for attention. The bad dog is asking for self-attention, for gratification of senses. And the good dog is asking for selfless service. Which dog will win? Which dog? Two dogs are barking. Both are barking loudly, seeking attention. A good dog and a bad dog in our hearts. Which dog will thrive? One that you feed. जिसको भोजन देंगे वो और मौके का. So these stories are also symbolizing the fact that we have to invest into selfless loving devotion, going beyond oneself. Atmendriya priti vancha tare kole kam, Krishnendriya priti vancha tare premana. So prema is when it's centered on the supreme Lord. भगवान को हम जब सेवा करते हैं उसको प्रेम कहते हैं. काम, though in the purest form of काम, as we saw in that verse, is prema, but it's perverted reflection in this world. Parchai, it's like a reflection. That prema appears as kama, where I become more important. Everything is to support me. So we have to feed the good dog of prema and make the unnecessary kama dog barking starve. You starve it. The more you feed, the more the kama dog will also bark. That's what for a long time Bollywood used to do, and thankfully things are changing here also. So many nice stories coming out. You have to feed the right. Is it about just my gratification, I becoming hero, or is it about I heard this beautiful statement about Shivaji Maharaj, right? Shivaji Maharaj, for him, Swarajya means every person had to be seated on the throne. What a concept, right? That for Shivaji Maharaj, the whole concept of Swarajya said every person is seated on the throne, which means actually empowering every person in their swabhava, in their swarupa. So the choice is up to us whether to feed the good dog of swarupa or the bad dog of vidyahankar. These stories are also told sometimes, hyperbolized, sometimes dramatized. Even today, the stories go around, but they're dramatized to establish a point. I think the point is most important. If you get the point, how does it matter how big that war was? Does that help? So coming back, should we have Rath Yatra to run the Ganesha? Yes. We'll need some seva distribution also. Any can we actually, like last year, mobilize and start, because the Ratha this time we are trying to extend the ceiling, the base also, make it bigger. Last year it was quite stable, no? Ratha was quite stable. Yeah?
Essentially, the new fields,
It's quite stable. So the services we'll need are broadly, one is a lot of preparation before the Rath Yatra. Some cleaning at if we now agree on the Vanda Ganesha temple, right? Sorry, I've given a name to the temple now. Inadvertently. So we can, Sorry? Yeah, so we will consult them. But that temple is also very newly constructed, very beautifully constructed. That also is an opportunity. That could be a place, right? And maybe last year the Ratha used to be parked there overnight. But now there's no parking space because the Devi temple roof is also demolished for good reasons. So we will have to possibly park the Ratha, or to take the Ratha back, bring it back, and next day again take the Ratha and bring the details back. We have 1 day separation, not 8 days. Any other thoughts? Any creative thoughts? I mean, there were some other thoughts like taking to Hanuman temple, but Hanuman temple बहुत दूर पड़ जाएगा. Huh? It's also small. Yeah, Jagannath deities will not even fit there. So can someone take Govind can leadership, थोड़ा coordination में help कर सकते हैं? So Govind can you can reach out to Govind for the seva coordination for Rath Yatra. So we'll stick to Devi temple, Ganesha temple, right? Not Hanuman temple. Any other thoughts? Or कोई विचार? This time it's a Friday. But Friday evening we can do. That's almost like getting into the weekend.
construction going on campus. All the vehicles will leave the town. To out the side of the we can start after 5.
5 बजे के पश्चात देर हो जाएगा.
Yeah, you. That's when we start. So that is 7. Then we will start.
So
Is Barish to
you are saying Juhu temple also 5 they start. Juhu na charge. So we can start at maybe 4:30. 4:30 we'll start. No? The lights will not be sufficient. Sorry? Achha, people will not. So 5 is okay. So we'll stick to 5 then. 5 baje. ओडिया क्लब के थ्रू किया था पिछली बार. Going, if you want, you can talk to the ODIA club. Last few years you have been doing through that club. गजेंद्र से बात कर लोगे? गजेंद्र से बात कर. That's another to do. Talk to Gajendra. Anything else? We can continue doing Prasadam. We'll have Aarti now. So I hope you relish this beautiful pastime in the setting. We'll continue discussing about some of the very intricate details of the margin. So we'll of course undertake the the Mandagaresh temple margin. Right. I want to conclude with this last slide. So what happened? You may be wondering what happened finally, right? The King Purushottam Jana. The king, he was to get married to the girl. But now the king of Kataka took a U-turn. This is the last concluding surprise climax. The king of Kataka took a U-turn. He said, I will not get my daughter married to anyone other than a sweeper. So look at the change of heart. मैं झाड़ू वाले को ही दूंगा अपनी बेटी को. So the ministers, of course, the girl started crying. The ministers, they saw the girl crying. They wanted to help. They said, don't worry. During the next, when the car festival comes, we'll give you a sweeper. So who was a sweeper? Who was a sweeper? Right? So next year, when the car festival took place again, Purushottam Jana was grooming. So that time, all the ministers, they got together and said, this is the right time. Getting married to a sweeper? Here's a sweeper. So she went and garlanded this very sweeper, who was the king. Right? And they said, this is very good. You're a sweeper. Condition is being met. And the king accepted. Whole marriage was accepted. So you can read this actually. This entire pastime in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is also presented very beautifully in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita by Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami. And even I talked about the Sakshi Gopal deities, right? So the Sakshi Gopal deities were moved to Kataka. The Maharaj Purushottam Jana got so attached to these deities. So now, even though we talk about the war, the two kingdoms became such best buddies. Right? Said Maharaj Purushottam Jana was so attached to the deity of Sakshi Gopal, gave many gifts. So she also wanted to give gift. And she gave her most valuable pearl nose ring to Sakshi Gopal. But then they were wondering, Are Sakshi Gopal ko de diya, but nose mein there has to be a hole, right? The ladies here know. Without a hole, you can't put original rings. Still an imitation dal dete. So that night Sakshi Gopal appeared to her in the dream. He said, don't worry, I've made arrangement of a hole in my nose. You know what? Mother Yashoda, she appears that hole in my nose when I was a small child. So it's still there. So Queen, she ran to the deities with a pearl in the very next morning, and she actually saw the beautiful nose ring. Sorry, hole in the nose. So with this, as I said, we'll conclude today's discussion. We'll talk about Lord Jagannath's advent to Gundicha temple, how he forgot about Lakshmi. Goes there and forgets about Lakshmi also. So how Lakshmi pulls him back to Jagannath temple and the entire beautiful pastime of Gundicha Mata. Hare Krishna. We'll have Aarti. So during Aarti, I'll sing this bhajan. Um, Beautiful bhajan. And this is composed by Vasudev Ghosh. I talked about this bhajan where Vasudev Ghosh is appealing to all of us to simplify our hearts. Simplify our hearts. Gao Gao. Sorry, not here. So that's a different bhajan. He says, you make your heart very simple. Gao Gao Guna, Gaurangera Guna, Sarala Karya. So in that mood, let's actually chant this prayer where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his glories as non-different from Lord Jagannath and non-different from Krishna are glorified by Vasudev Ghosh. Again, Hare Krishna. Stand for after me. Jaya Jaya Shri Ram Tribhuvanage Kore Jara Charanamrita. Jaya Jaya Jagannath Shachiragopala Tribhuvanage Kore Jara Charanamrita. Chale Shankha Chakra Gada Padmadhara Chale Shankha Chakra Gada Padmadhara करे गंडा कामंडा Jagannath Shachiranandana Vibhuvane Kare Charanamani Yahavane Purave Ravana Bhavirate Golokera Vaibhavila Prakasha Kabira Jaya Jaya Jagannath Shachiranandana Vibhuvane Jara Charanandana Shri Radhara Bhave De Gauravatara Shri Hare Krishna Nam Gaura Gorila Prachara Jaya 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 Shachiranandana Vibhavane Hare Jaya Jagannath Vasudeva Goshabale Korijoda Jai Gaura Sri Krishna Sri Jagannath Jai Gaura Sri Krishna Sri Jagannath Jaya Jaya Jagannath Shachiranandana Vibhavane thore chara charanam. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Jaya Jagannath, Sachidanandana, Tribhavane Kore Jara Charanandana. जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ जय माया देवा जय सुभद्रा जय राधा गोवर्धन हरि राधा गोवर्धन हरि राधे जय राधा गिरिधारी राधा गिरिधारी राधा जय निताय गौरंग हरि निताय गौरंग हरि निताय जय नरसिंह देव जय नरसिंह देव जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद नाम संकीर्तन की जय जय विष्णुपाद परम सतचार्य अष्टोत्तर अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय प्रिंसिपल श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपनाथ श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद गिरि गोवर्धन की जय ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की जय पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय गंगा मैया जमुना मैया की जय भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय समवेद गौर भक्त वृंद की जय कलियुग पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय जय गौर प्रेमानंदे all those assembled devotees, all those assembled devotees, all those assembled devotees, all those, to Shri Gaur.